Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I really was about to say GH for a minute. So let's talk about Gwen for a minute, because at this point, this chick just don't give a damn. Um, she talks to how? Okay, first she talks to Gabby real quick, which doesn't really last that long, and all Gabby says is, "Oh well, Jake is with Ava," and she kind of just runs off. Like, oh, Jake is sitting there sleeping with Ava. I was like, and you were almost about to sleep with Johnny. Yeah, exactly. Think about that. Keep walking. Um, talks to Xander. Xander's still kind of broken up about the whole um Sarah thing. So he's like, I'm gonna go and see Sarah or whatever. And she tells he tells Gwen that Sarah has actually gotten a lot worse. Now she thinks she's like 5 or 10 or something. And, she says under her breath, which is really loud, "Oh man, I didn't see that coming." Wow, for a minute you almost actually sound like you cared. So, after Xander leaves, Gwen goes to talk to Ava. Just, at first, she's sitting there trying to judge Ava a little bit because she thought she heard Ava and Jake having sex. Jake messed up his back, just sleeping on the floor, and um, Ava was sitting there massaging his back. So after that's done, Gwen comes in there, and at first she's like, "Oh, I heard y'all that they're having sex or whatever." And Sarah's like, "No." Ava's like, "No, we were just getting a massage because his back kind of went out by sleeping on a hard ass floor." Um, but then Gwen is like, "No, no, I don't tell you, I don't really care about that." And she tells Ava what she did. And here's my whole thing. Not that long ago, weren't y'all pretty much kind of blackmailing each other up into a stalemate? So why are you sitting there telling her more dirt about yourself? But anyway, she's like, yeah, I switched a drug on Sarah, and now she thinks that she's like 5 years old or whatever. And Ava's like, listen, she's like, I'm gonna be real with you. I run a crime family. And even what I thought you did was love. And Gwen is like, oh, well, where is that coming from? And Ava, Ava was sitting there being real with her. Ava was like, listen, you have not changed since the day that you got in Salem. And what it really comes down to is you want what you want and anybody else be damned. And you know what Gwen said? And this is why when she finally gets, when the truth comes out and everything like that, and she finally gets what she deserved, I am not going to feel bad for her whatsoever. The only time, the only time I actually felt bad for her was when she had a miscarriage. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But with that being said, she actually said, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. I feel like at this point, I, I can't believe I was actually stocking up a bit of sympathy for her. I mean, clearly not now because she just switched to drugs. So, like, whatever sort of, I don't know, sympathy or rooting for her or whatever, that's gone. Not like I was really rooting for her that much anyway, but still, she knows exactly what she did, and that's a response. So Xander eventually meets up with her, and Xander's like, yeah, listen, she can't remember me. She thinks she's like, 5 or whatever. And it seems like my life with her is over. Is over. So yeah, I'll marry you. And I stood there and I was just, I sat there and I was like, you do realize that he feels like you are a consolation prize. Okay? That's literally what I read from that whole sentence. well, I can't be with her because, she's, the drug has really damaged her brain. So I guess I'll, be with you. And she's all like, yay. And I'm like, really? Really? That's okay. All right. um, let's talk about the dingbat known as Anna. Um, this chick, I swear, I feel like she at this point lives on another plane of reality. She's not there talking to Rafe and she's complaining and she's like, well, I'm surprised you're the commissioner or whatever and you couldn't do anything as far as like getting me out of here and blah, 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 blah. I was like, sweetheart, you should be downstairs in a holding cell and one of those hard ass benches for a bed. That's where you should be at. But you have the audacity, and with other people too. But instead, you're in there by yourself, not really bothered, and yet you're still sitting there complaining. So eventually, Tony comes and Tony sees it, and Tony is like, "Listen, the drug didn't work. Actually, to tell you the truth, the drug did more damage to her. Now she thinks that she's like 10. And you know what this idiot says? Well, at least she's not Renee. One of the sad part about a response about this whole thing that even though that this is a fantasy, there are real women that act like that. I mean, obviously there's real men that act like that too, but there's real women that act like that. That is just so. I don't know a word to sit there and describe it. I mean, I don't want to sit there and say she's unself aware, but she is just so much of a dingbat. That was her answer. Oh, well, at least she's not Renee. So I think even Tony was like, what? And Tony was like, listen, you you stabbed her with that needle, and we didn't even know if the drug worked or not. But but Chad and Ross said that it would work. Yeah, but there was always a chance that it wouldn't work though too. And because it was just an inconvenience to you, you decided to just boop. And so she's like, well, Maggie is coming at you with the full extent of the law. And she still looks like she's just not getting it. Um, hell, I think at one point he's sitting there talking. Yeah, oh, this is after he left. Rafe comes in and Rafe is like, your lawyer's gonna be here soon. And Anna's like, so what's gonna happen to me? What's gonna happen to you? This chick is in a hospital thinking that she's 10, and the only thing that comes out of her mouth is, what happens to me? Now, I've read somewhere on because I usually get these stories off of Google and stuff like that. Sometimes it's like they almost know exactly my interests. Well, it makes sense because I usually search up stuff. My point is, they had an article, and I didn't read it, but it was like, it's just a soap opera. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but there's a certain level of stupidity that I feel like we just we shouldn't go far. We shouldn't go far down that rabbit hole. It's just a certain level of stupidity that even for a fantasy is kind of hard to buy. Now, Victor has a quick talk with Sonny, and he pretty much tells him, or yeah, pretty much tells him that you're going to be the CEO of Titan. With Philip missing and Justin probably not wanting to do it. He's like, yeah, you're going to be the choice. And Sonny's like, you're not gonna sit there and manipulate me like you always do. You're not gonna sit there and bulldoze me and bully me into doing something that I don't want to do. But while you think they're talking, he does actually say that, I'll talk to Will, and if he has any slightest hesitation, I'm not gonna do it. Hell, Victor even plays the whole, oh well, Ariana will be, Gabby will be happy to have Ariana closer. And Sonny's like, you don't even like Gabby. What are you talking about? It's like, you don't even like Gabby. What are you talking about? Um, but it seems like he is considering, which will be interesting. And, as I'm sitting there looking at this whole thing, I'm like, when Sonny and Will just left, it was an odd choice for me. I mean, it was an odd choice, them both just leaving like that. Because I sat there and I looked at it and I was like, now that you have two LGBT characters gone, like just like that, I was wondering about the backlash really. Are people going to be like really angry or whatever? And then they bring in Chanel. They brought in Chanel, and then they was like, "Hey, Chanel and Ali are going to be a thing." And the way it happened was so fast, it just didn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, the only thing that I took from it was that you don't have Will and Sonny. But it seems like you're going to have Will and Sonny. Here's the thing: I don't mind that they were gone if you didn't have anything for them to do. I look at Y and R, and I was talking to somebody today on Instagram. Them sitting there saying that Ray's leaving. It was like, well, why is Ray leaving? I'm like, why would he stay? You're not giving him anything to do. He's literally background at this point. Um, I also described Finn as a sock puppet and felt like a sock puppet can do better or be more useful than him. But my point is that if you're not going to have a reason for them to be there, and like let them do something else and let them come back and give them a storyline they can actually do stuff. What else am I missing? Oh, so Gabby runs in Ray's interrogation room while he's talking to Anna. It's like, hey, I need to see you, and pulls him out. And Ray was like, well, what are you doing? I'm interrogating her. Like, and of course, Gabby's like, well, she's Demara. She'd be out in like no time, which is probably true. But I'm like, you can't just walk into his job and be like, well, I need to sit there and see you, and just stop everything. And what she stops him for is to sit there and tell him, oh, you got to arrest Ava. Why? Like, I mean, I don't have anything on her, that I could sit there and arrest her for. Um, and Gabby's like, I want to sit there and see the police files on her. And Rafe is like, I can't do that. But what I can do, because he said he had like his lawyer had a copy of the reports or whatever. So he was like, I can talk to my lawyer and give you those copies. And so at this point, what he tells her is like, yo, listen, be careful. Um, because then even Gabby was like, listen, just because she tried that revenge once doesn't mean that she's not going to try it again. Rafe is under this belief that, well, she's just, she's just talking. Even Nicole's like, yo, you got to kind of watch your back with her. Which you would think that he would listen to her because Nicole has known Ava longer than well him, but for some odd reason he's under the delusion that oh well she's just talking. But yet you tell Gabby to be careful. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Um, Maggie and Victor have a nice scene. It was actually really good seeing Victor again. I don't know. Victor, like I said, Victor's the type of person that when you get to a certain age, well, there's pretty much just no filter. So it's just whatever comes out, comes out. But in this scene, he was actually really nice to her. He was just comforting. And he told her, listen, I get that Sarah's not in a good place right now, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that she's happy. And I really did enjoy that scene. Um, Plus, it was just, like I said, it was just good to sit there and see him back. And honestly, to tell you the truth, it was good to sit there and write his name in my notes again. You know, I got three Victors, well, two Victors that I talk about, GH and Y and R. I'm like, I'm missing a Victor. Yep, I haven't seen him in a while. So it was good to sit there and see him again. Now, the thing with the whole Sarah story, I'm still not feeling it, but it's more tolerable. Because when she was Renee, she was annoying as hell. Okay? She was annoying as hell. It didn't work for me. My patience just, no. But at least with her thinking that she's like 10 or whatever, she's a lot more tolerable to deal with. I couldn't deal with that other version. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Um, Also, before I go, no, I think that's about it. So, yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your let me know your thoughts on the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.